there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. I had to make sure everything was working. Everything's working properly right now. I had to do a graphics card update yesterday, and everything is fine. It should stay fine forever. Totally nothing else would be broken, right? Nah, we just gotta believe. And I am believing that everything is fine. So, I'm just gonna go with it. So everything should be good. Hello. I slept for most of the day away. Which is good at the same time bad, because I'm like, gosh darn it, I wish I did more today. But hey, at least I caught up on sleep for the week. And then before I stream, I ate a chili dog. I burned the inside of my mouth a little bit because it was a piping hot chili dog, but it was worth it. It was good. It was nice and fresh. And yeah, I feel pretty good. So I am ready to go. Ulpianus. He's being kind of stubborn. I will give up after I get my first 6-star. So far, if you're curious how much I've thrown at him, I've given him 42. I was gonna say 24. 24 summons, nah, 42. But it's okay. It's fine. And I'll catch up eventually. I'll get more offerings for the Dungeon Meshi collab. Eventually. But for now, we shall go here, to the Path of Life. So, Tide Watcher. People dreamed wild dreams about the cities beneath the waves before they saw one with their own eyes. Darkness, my favorite. A hunter is walking on Seacoast Way. With homeland left a mile behind, his path lies ahead. From his forebearers and children he was torn. Into the seas his lover was swept away, floating in the deep dead. Ah, what a song. This event story goes deep, pun intended, nice. A hunter is walking on Seacoast Way. With homeland left a mile behind, they must lament and pray. There is no end to his path. The road ahead is shrouded in gray. I'm curious to learn more about Ulpianus. Though, in his case, because he's being stubborn for me summoning him, until he lets me summon him, he's Ulpipi. So, I am most excited for Ulpipi. A hunter returns by Seacoast Way. His journey ended, his home close at hand. Sound of waves passed above the spray. Why do his feet disobey his command? Why ever does his heart still sway? Long time no see, Scotty. Hello, Scotty. Long time no see, girl. How you been? Been a while, Doctor. You were supposed to meet at that chatty library, but you don't seem surprised to see me. You and Elysium are both roads operators. This is a lot closer to your homeland after all. Second one, I'm still entertained by her pants. True. You're an hour later than Kelsey estimated. Whoops, my bad for being late. An hour late! Oh no, I'm so sorry, Scotty. I guess the Inquisition's review process is strict, even with an official notice from a saint. After only 3 months, nearly all the town's residents have moved inland, aside from a few workers, replaced by lots of people from the Penal Battalion. They must be preparing for something. They look pretty tense. Ager contacted Iberia a week ago. This forgotten town has become a lot less quiet since. Being surrounded by sea scum already sets the young soldiers on edge. Hearing Ager's voice only makes it worse. It demands a response, maybe caution. When the undersea nation finally speaks, you have to listen. It demands a response, maybe caution. Turn left at the sculpture, and the sea is a quick 10-minute walk. We'll head straight to the Eye of Iberia. Say, Doctor, do you hear the sound of the waves? Scotty turns her head slightly to the sea breeze. Her hair dances in the wind, the same color as the shadows in her eyes. Their layering has gotten complex. I hear the sound of stars drifting across the sky. the never-ending song of nature, and a language forever incomprehensible. Isharmla, I'm here. The hardship we suffer is ever present. The life we thirst for is ever present. Are you alright, Scotty? Did reconnecting with home put you on edge? Are you alright? Well, based on all the craziness that happened last time, I don't blame Kelsey for calling in backup, aka me. It's like I get more nervous the closer I am. Never mind. It's hard to explain. Maybe I'm sleep deprived. Ever since our last voyage, I feel like I've inherited Shark's nightmares. Speaking of the sea, why did Dr. Kelsey call you over so urgently? Good question. I don't remember you having anything to do with the ocean. I wouldn't recall even if I did. But it doesn't feel familiar, at least. I wouldn't recall even if I did. Well, I live on an island, so I'm close enough to the ocean. Walk in any direction and you'll get to the ocean within... I was gonna say within half an hour, but maybe not. Or maybe, actually. Depending. Not much of an answer. Right. I forgot about your condition. No wonder you gave such an answer. Oh well. I'm sure she had her reasons. Let's go. It'll be dark soon. Ooh, we're here. I would take a step back if I were you. I need to shake myself dry. Hey there, Dr. Kelsey. Not many people can track us abyssal hunters. Did Swordfish tell you we be coming ashore here in advance? Elysium deployed a data collector in these waters. It had a direct connection to the Eye of Iberia's central control system ever since its calibration. And it can already track underwater targets? That Liberia's not half bad. Am I to understand then that Rhodes Island and the Inquisition have deepened their ties? 1 week ago, the undersea city contacted Iberia via a special comms frequency, informing that the Aegir would be establishing a waterway between the Aegir home territories and dry land. In the face of such a grand project, Iberia could only gather intelligence through the Great Lighthouse's positioning system. Evidently, your position as Chief Designer of Warfare did not afford you any knowledge of this. Tell Kelsey what we discovered, Shark. The captain and I have swum out to where Saltafera sank 3 times now. Our last time was only 10 days ago. The first time, we could still see exploded wreckage on the seafloor. Under what little light filtered through from the surface, the gilded interior was more like a smudge of paint. But this time around, the entire thing had completely disappeared, replaced by a cluster of coral, throbbing with life. I may be accustomed to dreaming, but that felt unreal even to me. Then monuments to a lost civilization and its history stood for but a brief time. The Stultifera Navis has been completely claimed by the sea. Or to be precise, it's become part of a seaboard nest. Their environmental assimilation is accelerating at a frightening pace, but there was something even more noteworthy. We found traces of battle, recent ones. A completely barren patch of sea, lacking even marine snow. A warped, shattered stretch of sea floor, clearly pockmarked by micro-singularities. Ooh, hello, and thank you. And ooh, micro-singularities, huh? Only fleets of the Aegir's legions could be behind that. As a landwalker, Kelsey, the knowledge of and interests you hold towards Aegir are nothing less than extraordinary. Though separated by the boundless seas, Aegir has always been a part of Terra. Regardless, Gladia and I have decided to head to that city. A risky decision, no doubt. Perhaps a tad. Considerably. As such, we hunters have been observing it for a while. Before a final operation, I attended a military conference between the Academy of Science and the Academy of Technology as the Abyssal Hunter's chief designer of warfare. Among the battle plans they drew up together, I do not recall anyone calling for a military stronghold to approach dry land with, nor any projects involving waterways. Ager has, without a doubt, undergone great changes. Our contact with the home territories was completely severed after we slew Isharmla. It is difficult to determine the truth of the matter from the information we possess. Yet, still hardly reason enough for you to return to Ager. I don't believe I'm the first to try to dissuade you either. Did your colleague already do so? Do you mean Ulpianus? You would understand that the land holds no answers for us. We must return to the sea. If a strategy is to maintain a distance from Ager, then all the more reason for us to return in an official capacity. Ever since I awoke from my dream, the waves would tell me, time and time again, that the lost should return home. The Abyssal Hunters must return. Very well, I understand. Then I'll go with you, Gladia. That would indeed be a rare opportunity for you. Hello, hello. I will be representing more than myself on this visit. More than Rhodes Island even. Iberia as well. Even with all that you already bear, they would give you another burden. It was also my decision. Rhodes Island cooperation with the Iberian Inquisition has only just begun, much like our own. Elsie stares at Gladia. The hunter's face remains devoid of expression. Even the blowing sea wind failed to crease it. After a short moment of silence, Gladia nods her head. Yeah, Kelsey is definitely an expert at carrying tons of burdens. She's a professional.
How many days has it been since we were contacted by Ager, Irene?
8. Su Santidad. And outside the necessary deployments, meetings, and to rest, you spent those 8 days here watching the sea. They haven't given us a concrete time frame for the next contact. I understand you don't wish to miss their next move, but...
Look at the sea before you, Irene.
The colors of the deep sea bubble up, nearly indistinguishable from one another. Against the vastness of the ocean surface, the sky seems gloomy. The water crashed against the reef, whipping up waves several meters tall, their roars dashing against a small corner of the land.
By Iberian standards, an ocean without a hint of sea turf flesh is a gentle one, no matter how noisy it may be.
Ooh, hello, hello. Ooh, new burger joint. I hope it was good. I slept most of the day away. I woke up at like, what? Super late in the afternoon. Ate a cupcake. Went back to sleep. Woke up. Brushed my teeth again. Well, I woke up in the morning, brushed my teeth. Ate my cupcake. Went back to sleep. Woke up again, brushed my teeth. Ate a hot dog or a chili dog, and then now I'm here. And oh, I might be able to play To the Moon this month.
An old friend of mine was once the most talented bard of the port. But after that grand port sank into silence, he fled north, past the starving masses to the Iberian interior, to the small town that would one day become the capital.
Hello, hello.
I saw him kneeling by the broken town gates, weeping uncontrollably. From its weeping, the town obtained its new name. Redonidora. Forgiveness has left us. However, what people needed at the time was not mourning, but consolation. Many prefer to use the shortened term, perdoni, forgiveness. And now, the last eye of Iberia, the final legacy of the Golden Age, shines bright once more. What do you think that signals, Irene?
Hope and determination.
Hope and determination, of course. Ah, youth. The determination in your eyes is brighter than Dario's when he was your age. Good, good. But those words, as aspiring as they are often not the fully correct answer. After half a century of being pushed back, our front is finally advancing. Soon, this will become a new center of the Inquisition. But at the same time, we must necessarily bear everything to the ocean, to Seaborn and Ager alike. Iberia is stretched thin. This country can no longer hide its exhaustion and sickness. It is a simple fact, plain for all to see. And there is another fact to consider. We can retreat no further.
Ooh, new outfit.
Maestro, it's been a while. Donna Irene.
Indeed it has. Those clothes suit you.
Thank you. Right, there's been an emergency. The lighthouse just picked up signals of unknown origin. They seem to be coming from not the sea, but the sky.
Yordi, I think we can already see them. Carmen and Irene are fixated on the distant sky. This young clerk follows suit. He freezes on the spot. Oh, look at all those floaty dudes. They see a skull of fins soaring through the sky.
What are they? Bionic drones. The islanders brought similar creations to land all those years ago.
The matrix of drones crosses the sea in the blink of an eye, matching the height of the towering lighthouse. One separates itself from the formation and slowly hovers before the three. Its wings open and close like fins, like a speck of light dancing in the void, and soon after an amiable and charismatic female voice resounds from it. People of Iberia, do not be alarmed. Ager greets you. I am Clementia, a technology consul of our Institute of Societal and Administrative Supervision. Carmen holds his lantern aloft, looking serenely at the drone before him. Two completely different forms of light face each other, as though in a dialogue between two different civilizations, or a confrontation.
Saint Carmen I Iberia, of the Iberian Inquisition. I believe this is the first official communication between our nations.
Indeed.
You often speak our tongue. You speak our tongue as well as any Iberian.
I installed an Iberian language module before leaving the home territories. I hope you forgive me if I use the wrong expression. Moreover, forgive me for having to contact you in this form, Sir Iberia.
We have no objections to your appearance, Madam Consul. I only regret that it has taken us so long to begin this conversation. Despite your so-called waterway project being more than half complete and close at hand, we Iberians find ourselves in complete ignorance of it.
To make amends, we would like to invite your envoys to visit our city. Ager respects the efforts Iberia has made when you were caught up in the seaborne crisis.
Caught up in? Do you mean to say that everything Iberia has faced was merely the aftermath of your crisis?
I do. Let's not be tied down by formalities, sir. We recognize the power of language. Your name itself, Carmen Iberia, is a symbol of courage and valor. This is why we came to you. We hope that by reaching an accord with Iberia and the other terrestrial nations, we will be able to create a waterway that links directly to land. We will clear the stretch of sea between Ager's home territories and the land, so as to facilitate our forces coming ashore.
I hope I need not remind you what sending an army to another nation's border implies on land.
Given the enormity of the oncoming threat, we will exhaust every means at our disposal to resist it. I am more than willing to come explain to you in person if necessary, but it would be easier for you to understand the situation if you were to join us in the depths. The fleets of our legions, 8 and 10, are patrolling suppressing the seaborne in these waters. They will soon escort you to our city of Miliarium. This drone formation will continue to notify you of any nearby combat or environmental changes until you have safely arrived at the city. There may be an unprecedented disaster brewing beneath the waves. Sir Inquisitor, I worry that, though the Earth is vast, it is but an isolated island. The lights of the drone matrix cut out, putting a stop to their sudden communication. The sea breeze continues to blow up as the old man slowly lowers his lantern. A waterway that links directly to the land. She's eloquent, but
Arrogant, no doubt. A haughty adult wielding a weapon, loath to use finesse when dealing with an unarmed child. Irene, and former cooperation partners of this most recent communication. Kelsey has already agreed to serve as Iberia's envoy. The Abyssal Hunters should also have made their decision by now, considering they've always had reservations about the waterway program.
Right away. I'll also keep the other Inquisitors and Grand Faro abreast of the situation.
I've made a recording of your entire conversation with Ager, Maestro. Please, take a look. As for whether you approve of me going, I recall you submitted your application a week ago. Yes, since the Ager fleet is on their way now, I was wondering if... Never hesitate when you've already made up your mind. It only makes you less persuasive. When I was younger, Uncle Thiago was always worrying about me. He'd tell me, Jordi, you should leave Gran Faro, leave Iberia. But he never told me where to go. Ager was always my homeland under the sea, but I had no way of approaching it. I'd never heard the voice of Ager or seen its cities. But now it's so close. The Inquisition has approved of your application. Jordi Fontana Rosa, you will serve as an envoy of Iberia and accompany Irene and Kelsey to the Ager city.
Oh, good for him. He got approved. Yay.
Thank you, Maestro. Don't thank me. This isn't a reward. Your work since joining the Inquisition has not been particularly good. I chose Irene because she has already readied herself, even going as far as to renounce her long-standing faith. And I chose you because you are still bewildered and frustrated. Your weakness will consume you. Joining the Inquisition was a test. Returning to your homeland is another. I understand.
I'd be excited for the invitation, but at the same time I'd be like, will I be able to breathe underwater? Ooh, Rocinante. Agitated Winnie.
This is the deepest part of this trench. They hollowed out sides to make their nest. That's why we never noticed it before, despite circling this place several times.
Where are you, Winnie?
Yes, I smell it too. This scent. After destroying the ocean's native ecosystem, the Seaborn have created a new one that serves only them. A comprehensive seaborne ecosystem, where once it only existed in an oceanic abyss. Return, Rocinante. I will carry on alone.
Swing its neck in annoyance.
The entire continental shelf has changed. I must know who churned these waters. Till the night to continue the hunt. We will not be parted for long.
Ooh. So the last night will come out here, huh? Ooh, hello. Ulpianus swims into the nest. He chooses not to use stealth. Luminescent vegetative seaborn light up every corner of the nest. There is nowhere to hide in the first place. Atop steps of spiraling blades, minute and curiously shaped organisms sleep. Or perhaps drift along. The rocks of the seafloor cannot be seen. The fine tendrils of the North Sea branch slowly sway in the current. Catching fragments of organic matter, they weave together into thick mats, drowning out any sound Ulpianus makes. He can sense the changes in his own body, his consciousness extends, and his body relaxes, as though every cell in his body is trying to respond to something. He is clearly an invader, but the entire layer blooms in response to him. Ulpianus, King. Ulpianus is nearly able to see through the approaching seaborne translucent body. He waits for it to spit out its clumsy words about preying or being preyed on by him, but nothing comes. The seaborne thinks about his thoughts. Finally, you have traveled far. Here, sufficient nutrients. Shed your cumbersome flesh. Return, grow, migrate.
Humph.
For you, I was born. Ulpianus. Only for you. I entangle your doubt. I guide you. Return to the embrace of we many.
Why did you migrate? Where will you go?
You still waver, Ulpianus. You must know we many kin. You must know. The Genozoic will soon awaken. The Genozoic must return. A new cycle. Develop the ocean. Leave the ocean.
The Genozoic will awaken, leave the ocean.
We many see a new path ahead. We hurry.
What connection is there between you and the affairs of the city?
Come on, little seaborn. Tell us. Spill the tea. Spill the tea to Mr. Ulpipi. First contact. Well, of course, it's gonna be floating enemies. We're underwater. They're swimming. And of course, I'm gonna bring my own team because I want to be able to farm easy afterwards. Aegir researchers.
Based on the geological conditions, it's a promising volcano, but the location is less than optimal. It will be difficult to establish a lengthy energy transportation pipeline while fending off seaborne attacks.
Did you read the Academy of Technology's report? Well, that's part of his name. Ulpianus, Ulpi. And then, of course, to make it cute, Pee-Pee. The other half of his name would be Anus.
Or anus.
But I'd rather not call him that. I think at that point he'd avoid me forever. At least with Ulpipi, there's hope in the world. Hydrogen from seawater can be used to maintain operation of the Legion fleet, but it would be difficult to guarantee uninterrupted energy supply to the beacon. It alone accounts for half of the city's energy consumption.
It used to be much worse. Our ancestors had to design a bioenergy system for it, maintained through the joint effort of dozen cities. In this day and age, a system like that would be attacked by the seaborne before it could even be activated.
Regardless, we need to find a way to ensure power supply for the beacon.
Maybe Ulpianus would know the way. Let me get in. Oh!
Did you forget? He's still in the home territories and our cities are under radio silence. We can't exactly lay fiber optic cables like we used to either. What with all the seaborne out there?
I miss the days when we could get anyone in the country on a holographic call whenever we wanted.
Wait. What if we modify the output mode of the energy converter?
We have extremely limited experience in this area. There's always a safety risk.
And ooh, a doctor. Hanging out with a scholar. With you in charge of the cognitive link, I believe the risk is reasonable.
Well, I'm glad you're that confident in me, but I'm not. Who knows what an extended conversation via cognitive link with our transformed countrymen would do to both of our minds.
Oh! Xenoblade series. It's a Switch exclusive. That's not too bad since I have a Switch. There's been plenty of research into this. We'll be good as long as you keep a steady hand.
Even in the home territories, there are very few cases of transformed citizens being granted a final interview. Most are simply euthanized. Consul Clementius' ideals are radical as always.
Which is exactly why I followed her here. The Aegers look pretty fancy. They kind of remind me of Dr. Ratio. By sorting through the threads of reason via conversation, we can grant them a chance to leave a final trace of their sapience in the world. And what better way to send them off than with a stimulating debate? Sadly, most of the survivors of the Sea Patrol brings back already transformed beyond recognition. Precious few have the opportunity to return to the city to receive a final interview.
We're witnessing history unfold here, aren't we?
Or maybe we're just doing our jobs. I trust that the Institute of Development's planning's faith in you is not misplaced. Make your preparations.
Thanks. See you in the isolation chamber. Excuse me. What the? A catastrophe? Under the sea?
Taken by surprise, the young man loses his balance and falls. But an even stranger sight stifles his cry of surprise. He sees the passerby float into the air, swimming through it like fins through water, paying little heed to the swaying city below. As things return to normal, some land and walk away, continuing their conversations like nothing had happened. I like that. While others continue to swim forward through the air. They're just like, meh, I'm used to this. He recalls the Aegir rituals the people of Grand Faro had told him about when he was little.
Get up, Yardy. Right.
Donna Irene? Next time you go out, remember to put on the device that the Sea Patrol gave us when we landed yesterday.
Right, I remember that from the briefing videos. Which one was it again?
The fourth one. The technicians at the port reminded me. They make regular adjustments to the gravity settings as part of what it takes to maintain the low gravity environment of Millenarium. They said it's like a fin adjusting its swim bladder.
So you went to tour the port.
Yes, I was interested in the ships and the docks, their weapons. Those massive ships that sail like foul beasts to the reefs and cliffs. I saw traces of the Stultifera navis in them. Brailgun really did recreate Aegir technology in Iberia. Perhaps we should have sailed our proud armada out to the vast oceans, rather than parading our gold-gilded ships along the coasts as a deterrent to those dukes and pashas.
Brailgan.
You look nervous. So nervous that you missed the point entirely.
I'm just feeling a little out of place. This place is stranger than I imagined. The air is thick and heavy. The ocean above my head sends a chill up my spine, and the growing plants along the streets make me dizzy. Plus, what happened just now. Physical discomfort I could deal with, but there are so many oddities here I can't even begin to understand yet. The briefing videos Aegir provided were very detailed, but there's still so much that I couldn't comprehend, even after watching them so many times. Food moves on its own without a fork. Clothes clean themselves without having to be removed. These things make sense, kind of.
I love that. I want my clothes to clean themselves and I want to be able to eat without having to use a fork. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, that's the Brailgun dude.
But edible sagas, crunchy theorems? I just can't wrap my head around those. The best I can do for now is print out one of those emergency nutrition supply devices.
I want to eat an edible saga.
All of my life, I've known nothing but Gran Faro. Is this what it's like to...
No, it's not. It's not quite like an Iberian from a backwater village seeing the capital for the first time. Not that the city of gold still exists. The difference here isn't one between a small town and a metropolis, but almost between two entirely different civilizations.
I tried to ask someone for directions, but couldn't understand what they were saying, or whether I was being rude to interrupt. I don't even know how they see me, an Aegir, in name only.
I have my concerns too.
You're worried too?
You of all people know what Iberia did to the Aegir after the profound silence. I don't know what kind of country Aegir is, how its people view that period of bloodshed, or how they view me, an emissary with blood on her hands.
But you didn't.
I'm here representing the Iberian Inquisition. I've seen the files on the slaughters. Each report on its own may be thin, but in aggregate. We committed many injustices while cleansing the influence of the Church of the Deep. And the islanders were the most affected. I still believe the Inquisition was in no position to be lenient, not when the country itself teetered on the brink. It was our collective decision that we should go to any lengths to ensure the nation's survival in a time of extraordinary crisis. But that does not lessen our crime.
I don't believe you need to worry about that. Growing a massive vesicle to resist a blast from Class 3 weaponry, and covering the retreat of the other seaborne into the depths of the trench. How's it even possible for biological tissue to be made to resist the forces of a microsingularity?
This astute officer! I absolutely love their design. Oh, they're so pretty and majestic and cool looking at the same time. Astute officer, please tell me they appear more. Because I'm just in love with their design. Oh, so pretty. When I think of microsingularities, I think of fake Grand Order.
The Sea Patrol brought back tissue samples. They've already been sent to your lab through transport tubes. At least they haven't yet developed a collective resistance to Class 3 weaponry like they have for Classes 1 and 2.
Oh, astute officer is the will for operator. Even better! Oh yeah, I'm definitely farming this event. For you, astute officer, and I will raise you. I will raise you first thing. I gotta get a bunch more tickets, though. Since my EXP tickets are going to others. The performance of Class 3 weaponry is demonstrably superior. But even more concerning is that an individual Seaborn has evolved measures specifically to counter it. They're more organized than before. You've been analyzing the Seaborn's adaptation to various weaponry ever since Millennium set sail. Did you already foresee this? Advisor Blandus? To an extent, but we need more time to confirm our theories. Thank you, Secunda. The reports are always so detailed, I dare not blink for fear of missing something. Little Handy. Get me some eye drops. Ignore that command, Little Handy. Just a bad joke. If there's nothing else, I'll be going. I need to speak to the technicians about the damage suffered by our ships. I'd rather you stay for a while longer, unless you're hurrying to get some rest after work. Isn't it somewhat ironic, considering you've also received numerous health warnings, but haven't seen a doctor yet? Very well, still, I'd appreciate it if you could hear me out. It won't take long. I just need to confirm something. Have you read Gladia's report? I have. Then you should know about Ulpianus. I thought you'd at least show some sort of reaction. Of course, I'm concerned about the reappearance of the Abyssal Hunters after 5 years of silence, especially when the waterway program is at a key juncture, and Ulpianus' unusual activities are of particular note. He clearly made contact with Gladia's group and is aware of Millennium, but has made no attempt to re-establish communications with Ager. Meanwhile, we've heard from our Iberian sources that he's also declined to work with Iberia. He may be proud, arrogant even, but he's no fool. He must have his reasons for acting alone. Regardless, I intend to find out where he is and what he's planning. That utilitarianism, that impatience, he's rubbed off on you. We'd hoped you'd be better than that. I can only pray that your decision-making will be more prudent while tracking him. Nevertheless, I have faith that you'll keep me updated on his whereabouts. What are you talking about, Advisor Blandus? Neither of us is part of the Abyssal Hunter program anymore. You're the Weapons Technology Advisor for the Waterway program now. Aren't utilitarian, impatient decisions the usual business of your field? And shouldn't you be getting information about Ulpianus from Millennium's official sources? Why involve me? Of course. Just a momentary lapse in judgment. I can't fault you for carrying out your duty as Prefecta of the Sea Patrol. Oh, wow. They wrote 5 games, made a card game, and wrote all the music. And thing is writing it and the animatic script himself? Holy cow. That person is like a one-person band. I respect that. Similar respect to how I have for Harumaki Gohan. I just ask that you remember what Ulpianus did for us, for Ager. Yes, speaking. What, missing? I'm on my way. Who's missing? One of the technicians on the Waterway program has gone AWOL. Not a technician. And you are? Avitus, from the Institute of Prehistoric Studies, Academy of Science. We study the documents and artifacts of the prehistoric civilization. Irene, emissary of the Iberian Inquisition. Jordi Fontana Rosa. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. And don't worry, I didn't come to lecture you. I simply felt it was my duty as a citizen of Ager to free our landbound friends from the needless concerns. What do I give or think of the aesthetic of Ager? It kind of reminds me of... It kind of reminds me of Olympus. But underwater. Needless concerns?
What I mean to say is, Ager understands that Iberia took measures proportionate to the extraordinary nature of the times. We find similar periods in our own history, or even that of the glorious prehistoric civilization. The exclusion of outsiders as necessary means of maintaining social order appears to be an inevitable step in the progress of civilization. Besides, we welcome our displaced countrymen to return to the sea, just as we respect the decision of those who have opted to leave. The consequences of their choices belong only to them.
I appreciate Ager's magnanimity, Avidus, but the consequences they suffered were... No, it's nothing. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Ooh, little handy. Another little drone pal. I'm not drone pal, but a nice little pal for us. Mr. Avidus, our land-bound guests, please be informed this area has been designated for investigation. You are advised to proceed to another area unless you have unresolved matters here. A hand of the saint? The penal battalion used them to clean up seaborne remains, but I never knew they could talk.
Apparently, our people who brought them to land did not have time to demonstrate their full capabilities. Multi-purpose support equipment, commonly known as Little Handy. They currently offer 972 different function modules, excluding obsolete ones. One can sometimes tell their affiliation just by looking at the parts and the paint job. This one, for example, belongs to the Sea Patrol. Should I reply? We're very sorry, Little Handy. Sir. That would be unnecessary. It may be equipped with a voice, but that doesn't mean it's intelligent.
I assume that with your technology, maybe.
It's true that the topic of simulated personalities has fascinated many a researcher. The first attempt was created 230 years ago, and continues to operate to this day. In fact, I can put in an application for you if you wish to talk to it. However, whether from the perspective of neuroscience, psychology, sociology, or anthropology, simulated personalities have proven to be rather disappointing in terms of their benefits to research. Perhaps I've gone off topic, though. In short, they've remained the stuff of niche research, and we do not consider them suitable for widespread application. The goal of all technological development is to empower humanity. What purpose is there in turning a machine into a human? I see. Fascinating.
You said this Little Handy belonged to the Sea Patrol?
Only they would fit such powerful loudspeakers into one. When quieter means of communication are available, I suppose you could consider it retro.
What sort of organization are they? Do they frequently undertake such investigations?
The Sea Patrol was part of our legions. They perform a supporting role in combat, as well as regular reconnaissance, patrol, security, and disaster response duties. Emergency sweeps like this are rare, but with the waterway program at such a critical moment, it's only reasonable for them to be on high alert.
Little Handy, am I allowed to remain here? It is not recommended, but not forbidden. Then I'll wait here. I'd like a chance to speak to the Sea Patrol.
Very well. And you? I'll be going. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? Of course not. There's a limit to what I can answer outside of my specialty, though. Perhaps I could show you to a place better suited for such a conversation. The Savant Theatrum.
I would be a fish out of water going to the homeland afterwards. Heck, that's gonna be me next year. And ooh, favorite gacha game character design-wise? Oh man, that's a tough one. Okay, overall, I think the one that made my heart go doki doki the most is probably Lady Avalon, so I'm gonna go for her. Just because of that.
Did you sleep well, Doctor? You seem a little haggard.
It's the air pressure and humidity.
Yes, the Jaegers seem to have retained some of their aquatic traits. Are you not feeling well?
Just a little short of breath.
Is it serious?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Kinda, yeah. Don't worry, it's nothing.
Let me know if you feel any discomfort. Besides, to be frank, I thought there were many other reasons for your reaction. Does anything about Ager or the depths of the ocean seem familiar to you?
A little, but no, not here. Maybe, but only vaguely.
I know it might be difficult, but remembering even the slightest detail could be of great help to us all.
Sorry, but I can't remember anything else.
It's okay. Just try to relax, Doctor. Seeing the Preserver has inevitably hastened the pace at which you recall the truth, even though I'd hoped you would not touch upon what you've forgotten so quickly. No one knows when your path of suffering will end, not even yourself. In that, we are all powerless. What we do know is that you've had an encounter with the Abyss. The ocean is yet another path to your past. And we are finally upon it.
You seem excited. Do I detect satisfaction? You seem excited.
Yes, I wanted to set foot in Ager countless times. Until now, I've waited on the shore and drifted on the waves. I've witnessed lighthouses and the Armada turn from ideas to reality. Briogan had never given up on reestablishing communication with Ager through such means. But all his efforts ended in failure. Ager never welcomed home their prodigal son, much less opened their doors to outsiders. But now, they're even more eager to cooperate than I had anticipated. We need no longer waste efforts to persuade a proud and aloof giant. I can't deny feeling happy about that.
You don't look particularly happy. Is there something else troubling you?
I'm afraid there is. Ager's proactive stance indicates that they have a plan for making contact with the land. But even the most moderate of their measures seem too radical for land-bound civilization. A single gesture of goodwill could cause a massive storm.
We should intervene as soon as possible. The Abyssal Hunters are a good entry point.
The hunter situation warrants concern too. To Ager, they are neither emissaries nor guests. Having participated in the most radical project in Ager's history, and come back to life after being declared dead for 5 years, I worry that the return home would only cause
trouble?
Controversy?
Studies! Spectre, you're back. Hey, girls.
Where's Gladia? A somewhat troublesome fellow called her away. I thought your priority upon returning back would be to get checked up. What could possibly be more urgent?
No idea.
But once Gladia's done with her interview, I guess Scotty and I are gonna do some stupid checkup. Swordfish and I are fine. Shark's changes might be a little problematic.
There's no originium in the ocean, is there? Does Ager understand oripathy?
I read some medical papers before I underwent the surgery. Even back then, they had advanced knowledge of medulla regeneration and replacement. They should be able to help her. You needn't worry, Doctor. I've inspected myself in the mirror on that great ship. On returning, those endless dreams still creep up on me like bubbles. But they've also become as light as bubbles. Besides, I feel like I'd have more regrets about losing those dreams. But for now, I'm as lucid as I've ever been. And luckily for you, I'm even in the mood to take you on a tour of the city. Interested?
Of course I'm interested! Take me on a tour, please! Yeah! Let's go! Let's go, let's go, let's go! I wanna go! And now we fight! What a great tour this is! Oh, it's so exciting! A battle-worthy tour! Truly a battle-worthy tour! If I've ever seen one. This is fine. So it's fine. We got this. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Done. Actually, no, I counted too fast. Oh, that's a cute looking enemy. It reminds me of a sea slug. I want to grab its little wings and just... I was gonna say pull it apart, but that sounds kind of bad. Stretch it. Stretch is the right term. So cute. Okay, so far so good. Over here, not really. Over here, okay. There. And now do things this way. Oh, so precious! Might as well put out a healer. Healing's good, after all. It's nice being healthy. Okay, so far so good. No fear, no fear. I love just spawn capping the enemies for the most part. Just slightly out of range. And then I can easily bonk them. Oh, so very satisfying. Boop. Yay. Did you think we were touring a museum? You were looking at the instruments like they were exhibits. The third place I mistook for museum then. Why is gravity reversed in there? What's with the water flowing around the pillars? What's that space that warped my fingers? I want to know the part about my fingers. There are some things even I can't explain. Technology's advanced a lot in 5 years. Wait, the tower. There's a launch pad at the heart of the city? Good eye, Doctor. That's a beacon launcher, one with plenty of history. You know about it, Shark? My parents took me around the home territories when I was little. There are similar structures in many cities. I thought Aegir children were raised collectively. I was, but Shark has a special relationship with her biological parents. They're more like friends and parents. They reached a consensus with the Institute of Incubation to bring me along whenever they worked on a new dome project. I spent most of my time in the Institute of Incubation, but I was able to see the cities, learn, and even work alongside them. So, what's this beacon launcher for? Exactly what it sounds like. It launches beacons to mark the waterway. Those are some huge beacons. How big is the waterway anyway? How big? Aegir had almost mastered the oceans around 300 years ago, efficiently using natural energy at its various forms, and recording every seafloor trench in our navigational charts. Then we cast our sights on another ocean, when brimming with stars. Our fleets and even our cities were meant to cross a boundary that should never have existed, and light the fires of civilization beyond the barrier. Beyond the barrier. The Preserver was right, Doctor. Kristen's achievement is not beyond Aegir's reach. The sea and the sky are closer than we thought. People back then tried plenty of things, surveying and deciphering the electron clouds, developing new technologies and materials, exploring forms of life that can adapt to silence. It can adapt to space. This beacon launcher is a product of that era. It was intended to capture even the faintest signals from the stars, and plant beacons that would never fade from our star charts. Nanomachine swarms would form networks between beacons, allowing us to traverse vast distances in an instant. Or so we dreamed. You never told me any of this before. Lucid moments were hard to come by on land. But yesterday, I dreamt once again of walking from the Sophon Theatrum straight into the epoch. Then I saw Laurentina dance. She leaped from the waves to the stars, stirring up the stardust that trailed the hems of her dress. From afar, the voice of the master of all creation answered her in song. The universe and imagination know no bounds, and Laurentina's dances will never cease. Spectre closes her eyes as though sinking back into the dream. What is it? Just trying to picture it. It's a beautiful dream, Laurentina. Perhaps that day will really come, Laurentina. It's a beautiful dream. Before pushing open the door to the stars, they wanted to prepare themselves for any threats beyond the barrier. That is, until the Seaborn appeared and interrupted the dream. We poured all of our efforts into studying them, setting aside all else, art, science, and previous visions for the future. The Seaborn fundamentally changed Ager. What did you do before becoming a hunter, Scotty? What did you do before becoming a hunter, Spectre? Well, Spectre's talked a lot about herself, but so I want to know more about Scotty. Me? I was the best technician at the Institute of Facility Management. I could keep an entire city's underwater lighting array running on my own. Ooh, impressive. The Institute of Development's planning career proposal was pretty much what I was thinking, so I accepted. Very, very nice. By working by yourself can be lonely, but not such a bad thing. Playing with the giant fins in the reefs, or lighting up the ocean while daydreaming. Say, Kelsey and Doctor, we've shared a lot of info during our time together, but we've never talked about our old lives. Because they've changed. If anything, they'd have a specialized team for brute forcing their way into space. Like Kristen. Aw. I wonder if Kristen would have gotten along with them. Because they've changed. I guess you're right. Sorry for bringing up something so heavy on a tour. We have all the waves in the world hanging above our heads. Would you care to share a dance before dealing with all this bother, Doctor? Yes, I would love to dance with you. Gladia. I love her hair. Gladia's hand instinctively goes to her weapon as the woman approaches with a ceremonial sword in hand. But all she does is put her arms around Gladia's shoulders. Gladia smells stimulants in the air. Ager do not make a habit of greeting each other with physical contact. She could not remember even her mother ever doing so. But this woman's action felt completely natural. Consul Clementia? I was not aware that this was a standard salute between chief designers of warfare. Nothing makes me happier than seeing the hunters return as lucid as ever. Your soldiers' reactions when they first saw me suggested otherwise. The operation to eliminate the Firstborn cost Ager all of its abyssal hunters. Secunda made many rescue attempts, but was unable to penetrate the rampaging mass of Seaborn that guard the region after the death of the Firstborn. Your mother, Horatia, had no choice but to publicly declare you dead. But I know her, she doesn't really believe that. Or perhaps Consul Horatia, for most of the Institute of Scientific Development Planning, simply could not accept that I died for nothing. I know her too. But I do not think it's appropriate for a meeting between two chief designers of warfare to revolve around a complicated mother-daughter relationship. Of course, of course. Look at the city. The consul's Pensivarium sits high in the city. The seawater hangs just above their heads. The transparent dome serves as a gentle mirror, warding off the deep and foreboding void while granting the Ager the solace of introspection. Beneath the dome, the entire city is bathed in a blue hue. The beacon launch pad stands tall at its center, while ships glide in and out of the distant docks like schools of fins. The sea itself has no color, only darkness. Malarium stands in its murky depths like the vigilant eye of civilization, solitary and luminous. We once had many such cities. One by one, the stars in the sea went out, becoming sustenance for the seaborn. All that's left of the seafloor are their colorful, eerie nests. I won't deny that the Abyssal Hunter project was a failed gambit. The death of the Firstborn did not stop the evolution. I want to know what solution Ager has come up with next. What you have come up with. What is this waterway program? Gladia, I didn't mean... I'm simply part of an even bigger gambit, one with even higher stakes. The weapon classification scheme remains nothing more than a strict control over weapon usage to delay the evolution of the Seaborn. This time, however, we've taken into account every weapon at our disposal or under development. A mix of conventional ballistics and Class 1 weapons initially proved highly effective. The Seaborn were able to comprehend why they were being burned by the seawater around them. But it took them only a year to adapt. 11 months in, we accelerated the adoption of Class 2 weapons, which operated on completely different principles, etc., etc.
Until their evolution outpaced the ability of the Academy of Technology to innovate.
Yes. At day's end, all we're doing is merely buying time. Ager has committed vast resources to study Seaborn. To eradicate them at their origin, we must first comprehend them at their source. The information you've brought back is highly valuable, and Bruggen's discovery on land corroborates the Academy of Sciences research.
The Seaborn and Fahrenmuts share the same genesis. The Ager coming ashore to seek memories even more ancient.
Not just that, the Seaborn share a common genesis with Fahrenmuts, but much about them is very different, unnatural, one might say. A common genesis with Fahrenmuts? Oh, that is terrifying. Spooky, spooky, spooky. Ooh, I wonder if I could find some. Actually, I might be able to find some here too, before I even go to Japan for Kamen Rider. You're right. I gotta search later. The recent activity demonstrates a clear sense of purpose. They have quickly abandoned their reliance on the sea and begun to migrate towards land en masse. Left unchecked, it's not out of the question that all of Terra could become infested with Seaborn.
We already saw hints of that in Iberia.
Thus for Ager, the land is both a source of answers and a solemn responsibility. Harati has issued a new war orders on behalf of the Institute of Development, Planning, and Militarium, has come bearing new Class 4 weapons from the Academy of Technology. They're a form of biological weapon, very different from all previous ones, designed to induce death in nearby seaborn nests and newborns, while driving away adults from the area. We have successfully located most of the nests in the target region. The ones near Iberia are the only ones yet unmarked. Once the beacons have been placed and the weapons activated, we will finally have cleared an entire region of Seaborn and established a route back to Ager's home territories.
Consul Haratia would not have permitted the possibility of failure, yet all I see is a city under siege, teetering on the brink.
Yes, she did tell me herself that the waterway program would not fail. I do not know how many other possibilities she considered, and I hope I never do. For me, the city has always been the entirety of the waterway program. Yeah, that would make them cousins, actually. And heck, when I think of Fahrenmuts, there's also, the giant floaty well inside of the main story, the ship. So, I can see them being cousins. And now I'm just imagining seahorses. Seahorses, sea dragons. But that is no longer true. The changes in the past month necessitate a review of our plans. The Seaborn have rapidly adapted to our new weapons, even involving measures to protect their kindred from Class 3. But a successful extermination operation should have left no opportunity for them to communicate with other individuals. They seem to have obtained their inspiration elsewhere.
Almost every mutation of the Seaborn against humanity has been abetted by the twisted efforts of corrupted Ager. Yet the Seaborn lack true intelligence. We could toss all of our prototype weapons into their nest, and they wouldn't dismantle or study them. The Church of the Deep may have been able to train them to attack an army or city, but bringing about rapid biological changes is another matter entirely.
Unless they're not being influenced by the Church of the Deep, but by another firstborn.
I see you've read my belated report. Indeed, Ulpianus claims that the one we eliminated was not the only one.
The Abyssal Hunters were the first and last Aegir to enter the Firstborn's lair. Even now, the Seaborn defend the ruins with a frenzied fury. We have not found a way to get through. Amongst the hunters, Ulpianus spent the longest time there, enough for him to witness the truth. Same, Clementia is very, very, very cute.
You're still deliberating on whether to believe him.
Yes, it could be the key to solving the mystery of the Seaborn, or the path that leads us to destruction. Could a hunter survive for months on Seaborn remains and remain lucid? Would a lucid hunter willingly stay with them, rather than returning to civilization? That sounds like a fun challenge. Surviving on their remains for a month on end. They could be tasty. They might be delicious. Well, a lot of them look like jellyfish, and I like jellyfish. So I don't blame Ulpianus for staying there. Upipi's like, yummy, yummy jelly. There are too many unanswered questions about Ulpianus and that fateful operation. And so, I regret to inform you that Aegir has no choice but to welcome its hunters home with a tribunal.
I thought we had designated this area for investigation. Madam Irene from Iberia?
May I ask to whom I'm speaking?
Secunda. Prefecta of the Sea Patrol, I regret not being able to greet you personally upon your arrival yesterday. The Sea Patrol is currently investigating the disappearance of a citizen. We have not requested assistance from Iberia, and respectfully request that you exit this area as soon as possible.
I would like to assist as myself, not as an envoy.
Your offer is appreciated but unnecessary.
I want to.
Any news from the other teams? One moment. Getting the video feed now.
Ma'am?
No unusual movements at the port.
Disc.
Alert the other teams to monitor the closed civilian gates and keep a close watch on the circulation system around town. Roger.
You're okay with talking about this in front of me?
This is part of our regular duties. There's no need for confidentiality.
But you had your little handies clear the place out.
Only to prevent unnecessary harm to civilians. If you insist on staying, you'll be responsible for your own safety. The missing civilian is Tulia, a scientist from the Waterway program responsible for recording and calibrating data on seaborne nests. She went AWOL 30 hours ago and hasn't been seen since.
Could it be the Church of the Deep?
That's what we intend to find out. Her disappearance has not affected the overall progress of the project. As important as recording and calibrating the nest data is, her role was by no means irreplaceable. If the Church's goal was to assassinate someone to disrupt our plans, they would not have picked an ordinary data scientist. Unless she learned something she wasn't supposed to. I need to inspect her home. You're sharp, Madam Irene, but I would recommend against coming with us.
I'm simply investigating our common enemy in my own way.
Suit yourself.
The Sea Patrollers look super prepared. I wonder how much action they get under here. Tutorial? Uh-oh. No, it's fine. Beacon deployment drill. In this case, bacon, because it's me. Bacon. I want bacon now. Bacon deployment. Wee. Okay, I see. I'm not gonna delay my suffering now. Let's go. So many sea monsters. It's impossible to deal with them all at once. I'll come help. No, wait, there's nowhere for me to stand. Depositor. The depositor's kind of cute. It's almost friend-shaped. Oh, I see now.
Pay attention to the battlefield. When the seaborn died, its carapace proliferated into the tile it was on, and now its kin should be avoiding that path. The excrescent carapace occupying the tile can serve as a high ground platform for range operators. Cruz, get on there and remain on standby.
That's kind of disturbing. Ooh, the body of my enemy. Time to stand on it. That is one way to assert dominance. Whoever I put on top of the carapaces is gonna be the most terrifying operators on the field. Literally standing on the enemy's bodies. Their graves. I gotta put Wizardell on there.
Another sea monster swarm. Make sure to use our waterway beacons. Allied units deployed on high ground tiles adjacent to a waterway beacon can charge it. The more operators surrounding the beacon, the faster it can charge up.
But there aren't any high ground tiles around this beacon. Alright. Oh! Good luck for catching up. Yeah, there's a lot to read, but it's fun.
Use a seaborn's carapace proliferation on death, as we did earlier to create excrescent carapaces for our high ground operators to deploy on.
Okay, this is not too scary. Healing good. Healing good. Everyone deserves a heal, except for the enemies. I'm not gonna heal them.
Once the waterway beacon is fully charged, it slows down the movement speed of all enemies within range, and our operators now deal burn damage to them with their attacks too. Now use the waterway beacon to wipe out the rest of the seaborn.
Can do, Doberman. Yeah, there's not really any nations of conflict with them if they're underwater, of course. So it gives them plenty of time to study. And that's why they're so high-tech and advanced. So going underwater was kind of a good thing. I would say this is like the Lost City of Atlantis. Good ending, but at the same time, there's the Seaborn, so maybe not good ending. And ooh! I love how we're just waiting for our crews to take this thing out. Get that, thief fighter.
Mission accomplished.
That wasn't too bad. I don't mind this gimmick. It's fine. Tribunal, welcome. How many stages is this event? I never looked it up. I know I want to catch up by next week so I can farm. 9? Okay, not bad.
No one has been here the whole time? Affirmative. No signs that the little handy's logs have been altered either.
Excuse me, how do I view those records?
Grant her the permissions. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, 9th one is a victory lap. Ah, very nice. Sakuna takes the device from her belt and dances her pen across its surface, leaving trails like a labyrinth of seaweeds. Oh, and then 3 interludes in this event, so around 12 stages in total. Okay, not bad. What's your perfecta doing?
She scribbles whenever she's thinking, says it helps her organize her thoughts. It's a habit she's had ever since she was a researcher. No one else can decipher what she's writing. Or drawing. Not even that's clear. She's the only one who can parse it.
Books are arranged by thickness, shell decorations by size, the data downloaded from the Symphon Theatrum by time. Seaweed cream to prevent dry skin. Is it because Miliarium is approaching the coast. Seaweed cream? I want to try that now. Right now, I'm currently using bean essence. That's my current skincare routine, beans, because I love beans, beans, beans. Coffee beans, kidney beans, lima beans, soybeans, whatever bean I'm using on my face. Mystery beans. There's enough to last 3 years. An ordinary Ager woman, cautious, timid even, matches the data from the Institute of Development Planning. These hydroponic tanks. What are these boxes for? Why put them on the wall if they're empty? Yes, the hydroponic boxes may provide a lead. Can all equipment in the room relate to plant cultivation?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, pull whatever you can from Juliet's files. Education, employment, hobbies. Anything that might be relevant.
She previously worked at the Institute of Ecological Art, with a focus on the cultivation of endangered seaweed. To quote straight from IEA's files, the artist has carefully cultivated these deep-sea seaweeds to weave a dynamic, ever-evolving portrait of life as they grow. These hydroponic boxes were Tulia's belongings. Images of her artwork are also available.
How beautiful. They look like they've been left empty for quite some time. According to the files, she joined the Waterway program after a reassignment. She wouldn't have abandoned her old life for no reason. True. Her disappearance may have been related to her career change. How's the scan coming?
Nothing unusual with the cultivation equipment, but we found an operating log in the integrated terminal. 2 days before she went missing, she downloaded some data from the beacon tower control center and made a backup. We were unable to locate the file itself, though.
Try to backtrack her steps. Contact the control center and trace the data from their downloaded logs. If she was still going to work before she disappeared, couldn't her friends or colleagues know something? Perhaps. What's the situation on her social relationships? What about the person who made the report?
We've arranged a questioning. Anything I can help you with?
Sorry, I have so many questions. I don't know where to start. This, metal tree, do I just ask it? I've heard legends of ancient trees acting as repositories of knowledge, but I've never seen anything like this.
This coral-shaped integrated terminal is the culmination of centuries of Ager's knowledge and culture. Everything we think, know, create, appreciate, and even the questions we have yet to answer, they're all here. It's the heart of the Sophon Theatrum. And what is the Sophon Theatrum exactly? Conceived and established by Martus, the great scholar of anthropology and prehistoric civilization, it is a public facility that has a profound impact on the nation. Aside from the mutually supporting atoll, city clusters from above sea level, and the modular city networks in the trenches, most of our other cities have unique forms and designs. Yet even so, nearly all of them have chosen to adopt Martus' designs and establish their own Sophon Theatrum. Look around you. This is a place for people to think, doubt, and debate, eventually coming to an understanding and making a decision. A coliseum of wits, if you will. The most complex equations, the most ancient drawings, and the most beautiful songs, and the most well-traveled roads were all born here. I believe this is exactly what Martus himself wanted. You keep mentioning this Martus. What kind of man was he? Simply listing all of his contributions to Ager would take an entire day, perhaps more, but I do happen to have some insights into his personality. Oh, you knew him? No, he lived more than 2 centuries ago. He'd been gone from Ager long before I was born. But a professor liked to speak of his eccentricities. He was unmatched in theoretical and deductive reasoning, yet was always reluctant to draw a conclusion, even on issues where the answer was plain to all. He would refuse to put the question to rest until after an extended debate with himself. Some would say that trapping himself in an endless debate showed that he cared too much about the value and meaning of things, but is that not in our human nature? Which is why he built the Self-Fund Theatrum. We needed a place where we could engage in intellectual discourse, both with ourselves and with others. I wouldn't say I'm up for a debate, but I do have a lot of questions. Should I ask you myself, or this terminal? It seems our discussion may give way to a greater showdown. What do you mean? They're holding a tribunal, and it concerns 3 of those you arrived with. The Abyssal Hunters?
This tribunal should go well, I think, I hope. Oh hey, is that our land-bound friend I spy? Aw, he looks worried about us. Waves. He won't see you from that far away. Others are looking this way, though. The tribunal has drawn more attention than expected. We hunters always have, and now they even have the lovely story of a return from the dead. Like it or not, the Abyssal Hunters are in the spotlight now. This tribunal will be our final checkup, yes? Frankly, they're getting tiresome. Ooh! I want to send you a friend request later. Let me just get that in my little copy. Are you okay, Spectre? Take it easy, Scotty. Consider it our warm welcome. They're just here to greet us warmly with lots and lots of concerned gazes.
The hunters need to keep a low profile. We must also act with prudence, Doctor.
We always find ourselves in delicate situations.
Indeed. This time, we're not merely mediating between 2 countries, but between land and the sea. 2 vastly different civilizations. Following the tribunal, I will formally address Ager's Council to foster cooperation between the land and the sea. But for now, you'll need to assist Gladia independently, Doctor. The situation remains uncertain for both the city and ourselves. Certain matters become more difficult if I am placed at the center of attention.
But no one will be watching your assistant? So I should play it by ear?
Yes, but be careful. I'll prefer not to have to change our objective in the middle of negotiations with the Council.
Dr. Kelsey sure uses a lot of big words, doesn't she? Does she ever get straight to the point? Our dear Dr. Kelsey thinks too much about too many things, and not nearly enough about how to convey that she cares. Wouldn't you agree that more direct, Ager-style communication is better, Doctor? Absolutely. Kelsey has her reasons. You know, I like directness, so absolutely.
Don't worry, Shark and I will protect you. Say, where's Captain Gladia? I imagine she'll show up with the Council Clementia. After all, she's the one who will be taking the stand today.
Oh, whoever this is, she's pretty. I love her hair too. Excuse me, are you Laurentina?
I had a hunch I'd find you here, Advisor. The environmental sample data test results are out. We need to take a look and see if we need another round of genetic testing. Oh, sorry. Didn't see your message. You seem preoccupied by the Abyssal Hunters Tribunal. You used to work at the Abyssal Hunter lab, right? I'd rather not talk about it. But yes, I was researching gene splicing methods that would provide a safer and more effective way to perform the hunter modifications. But you didn't like the program. It's not about liking or disliking it. It's that I failed to produce results despite all the sacrifices we made. But what matters now is that they're alive, Gladia and the others. I have to be here, if only for them. Were you too close? Ha, if only she thought so too.
Oof, one-sided. Poor Blandus. Magister Avidus, may I sit here?
Of course, Cassia. Be careful though. Recovery from embryo separation surgery takes time. This is Jordi, a guest from Iberia.
Thank you, and hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, that is nice. They're gonna change the support unit skills soon. We can actually pick what to use with them. I like that. I appreciate that. There are more participants than I expected. Even when the Institute of Facility Management held a tribunal to discuss modifications to the city's unit framework, only 2 departments were involved. The tribunal system exists to solve problems after all. The only reason to involve more departments is when the problem is too complex for one. But the Sofon Theatrum is already half full. Is the return of the Abyssal Hunters really such a big deal?
It's a project that took 2 centuries of debate before implementation. Its philosophy shook the very foundations of Ager, and its every progress tucks the string of Ager's future. Besides, the waterway program is reaching the most critical juncture. Even the smallest thing out of the ordinary is worthy of attention. Simply reading the report is not nearly enough to come to an informed decision. Consul Clementia needs to counsel of experts in multiple fields. I'm sure that many have come of their own accord though. The return of 3 hunters is bound to cause unease at such a sensitive time.
I'm not really here for a tribunal, but I heard that you might make an appearance, so... And who might you be? Oh, sorry. I'm Lucilla. I had the honor of meeting your parents once.
Rulers in ink.
Are you an architect working on the dome system here? I transferred out of that last year, but I'm still with the Institute of Facility Management now. Now I maintain the city unit framework and measure ocean currents.
Envy not the sum, for we have given ourselves the eternal stars and the infinite sea.
When I was little, the foster parents at the Institute of Incubation took us to hold a performance here. We created a matrix of tiny optical machines representing neuroactivity with changes to the brightness of the dots. We rehearsed thoroughly, but the Sofon Theatrum malfunctioned on the day of the performance, and the whole place went dark, except for those little machines. But a couple in the audience worked their magic, and ribbons of light fell from the dome, as if arms reaching out to invite our little machines to dance. It was so beautiful that the blackout almost felt intentional.
Huh? I can picture the smug look on their faces. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they really had something to do with it.
When the Institute of Development Planning did its career assessment, I applied for the dome system without a second thought. It was only then that I learned they were famous dome designers. That was the only time I saw them.
So they were at the right time and place to inspire you. But you said you transferred out of dome work. Why when you've already formed such a special bond with our big transparent friend above? Lucilla, the tribunal's about to start. You want to sit here?
Sorry, my colleague is calling out to me. Anyway, welcome home, Laurentina, and I wish you the best of luck. That's a wholesome story about meeting Laurentina's parents. Or at least the inspiration.
Pretty much everyone's here. Hey, where you going, Doctor?
The hunters draw too much attention. I'll just be watching from the stands. I want to sit.
Kelsey's words really got to you, haven't they? As you're all aware, Millenarium has successfully made contact with Iberia. As such, the waterway program now enters its most critical phase.
A thread of light leaves the massive coral-shaped terminal to surround her, forming a giant ethereal ring in the air that dances to the consul's words. More threads weave together to form cities and tides, hunters and seaborn transmuting words to images and giving substance to sound. The crowd quiets down. And at this crucial juncture, we also welcome home our surviving Abyssal Hunters, Gladia, Skadi, and Laurentina. The results of their physical examinations and Gladia's mission report have been uploaded to the Sophan Theatrum's terminal and are available for your perusal. I'm sure many of you have already done so. Concerning the irregular circumstances therein, I now call upon the Consul Gladia, leader of the Aegir's Honor Exercitus, and chief designer of warfare of the Abyssal Hunters to answer your questions. You navigate through several rows of Aegir and sit on one of the back rows. With plenty of room around you, you have a clear view of everything happening in the Sophan Theatrum. The tribunal has already begun. The speakers do not raise their voices, yet every word is clear in the massive ring-like structure. Gladia steps forward, drawing everyone's gaze. Suddenly, you hear footsteps so soft they're almost inaudible, like a shadow from the somber dome touching the floor.
Not a sound, or I'll crush your throat.
Ah, I'm gonna get kidnapped, aren't I? Oof. Ulpipi! Ulpipi, is this how you're gonna greet me? Ulpipi! You don't have to threaten me, just let me summon you! Silly Ulpipi. Silly Ulpipi. Okay, this is alright so far. No fear, no fear.
Targets detected.
What a great first meeting. Hehe. I love having to force them go through this path now. Oh, it's so satisfying. Teehee, silly enemies, you thought you could go past us? No! That is the proper greeting to him after all. Hello, Pee-Pee. At that point, he's just gonna crush my throat on purpose. Like, whoops, my hand slipped. But no, it's fine. That's just my way of asserting dominance. And friendship. And let's just spawn camp this side. This is fine. Come on, enemies, you know, you want to spawn sooner so I can just easily farm. I can't wait to find a stage to farm nicely. If not tonight, tomorrow night. Okay, so far so good. Slowly waiting for these guys to make the grand entrances. Okay, no fear, this is fine. Might as well have Myrtle give me more cost even though I'm already maxed out. That's also a way to assert dominance. You know, even more asserting dominance right here. That's good. Oh, too late for that side. Very satisfying. Yay, mission accomplished.
Consul Gladia, is it your opinion that the issue does not lie in the battle itself? Of the battle itself? Oh, my door's being knocked on.
That was my mom. She brought me some cranberry juice. I told her to put it on the side. I don't want to hold it right now, just in case I accidentally drop it on my computer, and then I'll cry afterwards. So, on the side for now. It'll just be there, menacingly. Ooh! Wow! 3-month long duration event. I'm happy about that. If they make it a long time, that's good. How much is there in the game so far? That is amazing. I can't wait to start that next week. I just have it ready on my computer. Maybe I'll also download on my phone too so I can play easier. But that's for later.
Consul Gladia, is it in your opinion that the issue does not lie with the battle itself? Correct. What you see before you is a projection of the battle plan. If anyone here notices a flaw I haven't, I'd expect it to be pointed out. No, I have no objection to the battle plan. It was the most suitable one, given what we knew at the time. However, I would like your opinion on what we knew at the time. I have to admit that Ager's knowledge of the Seaborn back then was deeply flawed as such.
What are they trying to say? Still not used to their way of thinking, are you? You never did like thinking much, even back home. What a way of saying that! They mean no ill will. They're simply seeking the truth they need. Identify every flaw and question all perfections. The most heated debates will uncover the truth in its full beauty and reveal the right way forward. Just leave it to Swordfish. If you don't want to listen, just take a nap. Oh, how'd it go opening your first pilgrim mode? Uh-oh. In conclusion, our greatest error when designing the warfare 5 years ago was failing to make allowance for flaws in our knowledge. Oh, you got Cinderella! Congratulations for your friend, but oh no, getting a blue summon, ouch! Oh, the pain.
Until every last truth of Terra is revealed, we must admit that our understanding of the Seaborn will remain flawed. Our warfare design must reflect this revelation. I concur. Your conclusion should be incorporated in our future battle plans. It has been an honor to reflect upon this critical battle and reach a fruitful conclusion with you. That said, the battle 5 years ago is not our only concern. We have more pressing issues to worry about. Your physical examination has revealed mutations that cannot be ignored. The same goes for Scotty and Laurentina. I do not doubt your loyalty, but we need to know how assimilation by Seaborn genes will affect your behavior. Apologies for my candor. Millenarium will soon identify the locations of the remaining nests. Then the Seaborn will be driven out by Class 4 weapons, opening up the waterway. Is there any possibility that the Abyssal Hunters will become an enemy of Ager and of yourselves? Hunters out of control pose a greater risk to Ager than the Seaborn. The Abyssal Hunters are the flip side of Ager, created in Ager's most despicable attempt of salvation. They are now both feared and pitied by the creators.
Abyssal Hunter Ulpianus, I presume. Shouldn't you be down there too?
You're much calmer than I expected, and you know who I am. It seems Gladia has built a relationship on land with more than just the one doctor. I've never seen you in any of the operations. You're not an Inquisitor, nor an Islander.
I technically am an Islander, excuse you. Oh, that's the perfect catalyst. You want Cinderella? Summon in front of a mirror. I should have done that. The first time. She took 190 pulls.
The doctor from Rhodes Island brought you to Ager, but kept your identity a secret.
I'm just Kelsey's colleague. I'm also from Rhodes Island.
You may introduce yourself however you like. However, the point is that you can help the hunters.
Why don't you just go to Scotty? Why don't you just go to Spectre? Why don't you just go to Gladia? You can go say hi to Gladia, you know?
Now is not the time.
You don't trust the hunters?
On the contrary, I do trust them, but I also know them all too well. Scotty acts before thinking. Laurentina has not been lucid for long. Gladia will inevitably be the one to make decisions. I've already shared much of what I know with her. She should be on guard. She knows the potential restrictions, but nevertheless decides to return to Ager. Overeager to return to a familiar environment, She is oblivious to the fact that she has placed herself in the spotlight, where all that can and cannot be trusted have the power to scrutinize her. Now is not the best time for the Abyssal Hunters to come home. Their decision is a big gamble.
Why did you sneak into the city then? Sounds like you care about them after all.
Gladia and the others are not in a good situation. They underwent modifications, and unlike me, they were not part of the Abyssal Hunters Project's core research. Explaining the changes in their bodies will be difficult for them. I'll pass on some information to you, and I'll need you to help Gladia if necessary. Convey my warning to her later. As for the rest, may I say a few things? Blandus, he's here too? Blandus? Isn't this just like the old days? You and Ulpianus used to get into arguments with the research staff while I was napping.
Your comments would be much appreciated, advisor.
You flatter me, Consul. I was a technical advisor for the Abyssal Hunter Project, responsible for the gene splicing research used in the modification process. In other words, at this exact moment and in this exact place, I am the leading authority on Abyssal Hunters. Gladia, Laurentina, and Scotty may have been fighting in dry land too frequently and for too long. It is indeed cause for concern regarding their physical condition. As such, your concerns are not without reason, but my answer is this. No, they will not become seaborn.
The hall goes silent. Thanks, Blandus. Blandus clears his throat.
Let me try to explain this in layman's terms. Under ordinary circumstances, seaborn genes exhibit abnormal dominance and will irreversibly overwrite any pre-existing traits in their host. In Abyssal Hunters, however, we have managed to extend the timeline of this process until it far exceeds the natural lifespan of any given hunter. Furthermore, the Academy of Technology made a critical breakthrough, allowing us to implant an auto-adaptive junction in all the hunters before their deployment to eradicate the firstborn. The auto-adaptive junction was implanted at the splice point between human and seaborn DNA to assist the hunters in more closely monitoring the seaborn genes.
It's nice how the experience of the Abyssal Hunters was common knowledge. The Abyssal Hunters are kind of reminding me of Nikes in that sense.
If the seaborn genes exhibited abnormal dominance, the junction would signal the body to resist their attempt at taking over. While there has undoubtedly been some degree of decay in their auto-adaptive junctions after 5 years without maintenance, the changes they've undergone remain well within acceptable ranges.
So you say, advisor, but there is a record of a failed auto-adaptive junction surgery in the Abyssal Hunter lab archives.
That was Ulpianus.
Oof, poor Upipi.
The archive should also note that multiple clinical trials have demonstrated that the incident did not produce any adverse effects. For this, I gladly take full responsibility and will answer any queries. Now the Abyssal Hunters have returned to Aegir, their condition will be under control.
Am I to infer that you already have an effective means to contain their mutation?
There is an Abyssal Hunter lab in the city that we can reactivate. I will personally perform maintenance on their auto-adaptive junctions.
What of Ulpianus? How can we be sure that the hunter who has refused to return to Aegir will not become seaborn? Or what we fear hasn't already happened? Sounds like you've just become the target. Sounds like you're pretty dangerous. Dang, you've just become their target, dude.
It's only natural. They would be skeptical. It is both human nature and a hard-learned lesson to be wary of what you cannot control.
They're not the only ones suspicious of you. I am equally curious about your motivations. Did you really come out of concern for the hunters?
Before the sinking of the Stultifera, I shared my discovery with Gladia. There is more than one entity like Isharmla amongst the Seaborn, who's known as Firstborn. The Firstborn are stirring. It, or rather they, are about to awaken. I don't know how many or how soon, but it's close. Too close. This is why the seaborn have begun migrating towards land. I ventured into many nests recently, and as a whole, they're feeling a sense of crisis.
I wonder if he snuck in on his own or if he asked someone to bring him in. Because that one scientist dude seems to like them all. So maybe him.
Perhaps, not even the ocean contains enough nourishment for the awakening of a new god. Will it become another profound silence for the land, or another calamity for the seas? The Great Migration almost perfectly coincides with Ager's waterway program. One can only speculate about Millennium's role in all this. Is it not reason enough for me to visit the city?
Makes sense.
The Seaborn are proliferated independently, driven by their instincts, but they came from the Firstborn and cannot defy their fundamental nature. In other words, even if death of the Firstborn failed to halt their evolution, it should not have caused the rapid emergence of new, previously undocumented traits.
I believe in Blondus. I'm a root for Blondus when he says that, though. Go, Blondus, go. Especially since he seems to really like Gladia, even though it's a one-sided thing. So at the very least, Gladia will be fine.
I believe I already addressed that in my report. Yes, the multiple firstborn hypothesis. A logical enough explanation, but that is exactly why I'm skeptical of Ulpianus. Our well-laid plans ended in failure. The 3 surviving hunters washed ashore on unfamiliar land before being reunited with the hunter who was last to leave the nest. The information Ulpianus brought, that there are more than one firstborn in the ocean, is more than shocking. It's highly effective. Effective in explaining why the Seaborn's actions have been more disruptive, despite your success with the mission objective. Effective in addressing all of our questions. And why does it make you skeptical? Because it's an answer so perfect that's either the incontrovertible truth, or was designed specifically to put our questions to rest. Whether or not to believe the information he gave you will have an enormous impact on our warfare design. If Ulpianus lives, then the most effective way to verify his claims would be to track him down, perhaps even question him directly.
You have been quiet, Advisor Blondus. Do you have anything to add regarding Ulpianus? You were once students under the same mentor, and it was your trust in him that led you to join the Abyssal Hunter project despite your reservations. But I also trust your knowledge and ethics as an Ager. You need not rescue yourself.
All I can say, Madam Consul, is that I can be accountable for every word I say here at this tribunal. I would not intentionally put forward a hypothesis in his favor, nor will I make any conjectures that could hurt him. That is all.
Sounds like you two are pretty close. I guess even a loner has friends. Sounds like you two are pretty close. Ulpianus does not answer. The questioning continues, but Blandus says no more. Suddenly, he looks up towards you, as though he sensed something. You meet his wary gaze across the length of the Sulfon Theatrum. He seems to have noticed something. The consul next to him and the several other Ager catch that peculiar moment, and some of them follow his gaze. You look to your side and find the seat empty. Don't mind me, just a landlubber here to watch. Sorry, am I interrupting? Do I need to speak? Don't mind me, just a landlubber here to watch the show. Munches on popcorn, nom nom nom. The tribunal has arrived at an adequate conclusion. Gladia, Skadi, Laurentina, and the rest of the Abyssal Hunters have made tremendous sacrifices and contributions to Ager. It is a blessing for Ager that new ideas continue to emerge from their knowledge and experience even after 5 years. They have demonstrated that they are both innocent and safe, and that the return at this stage of the Waterway program is not a threat, but a reassurance. Yet now our attention turns to another of the surviving hunters, Ulpianus. He has concealed his movements for reasons unknown, and has attempted to influence the other hunters. Both actions clearly contravene his duty. Based on our present information, we're unable to determine his motives, goals, or even whether he still qualifies as an Aegir. Ulpianus must be found. If his intentions are indeed benign, as Gladia claims, our suspicions must be cleared through proper questioning. Those whose questions have been answered may now leave. Those whose questions have not may continue their inquiries. Do you have anything to add, Consul Gladia? The coral-shaped terminal at the center of the Salphon Theatrum slowly closes and sinks into the ground. The space is now flat and empty, like a stage ready for a new play. Gladia stands alone on it.
I have told you all I know. I have no objections to the tribunal's conclusion, nor to the suspicions cast upon Ulpianus.
People begin to file out, many turning to nod towards Gladia as they reach the exit. The remaining audience continues to ask questions, and Gladia responds to each one, whether she is able to answer or not. The water caustics cast by the dome weave a picture of light and shadow, with the ring of light surrounding the space, dancing on Gladia's expressionless face.
Even as an Aegir, I find this hard to understand sometimes.
They fling words at her like spears one moment, then thank her for her contributions the next. They're sincere, you know. Science requires people to separate facts from feelings, and they're good at it. I know, I'm just... never mind. As for Captain Ulpianus, all they have are suspicions. Swordfish, the doctor, Kelsey. Someone will think of a way. What next? We'll wait for Swordfish, which unfortunately will take a while. You're sighing too? She used to visit the Salphon Theatrum to watch plays whenever there wasn't a mission. Sometimes I went with her. Captain Gladia. She's fairly well versed in the arts, her mother's influence supposedly. Unlike everyone else, however, she liked the highest, furthest seats, so I would always end up having to sit apart from her. Why? For her, keeping the distance helps filter out the noise. Ignoring some of the finer details makes it easier for her to fully immerse herself in the story. Right now, though, she's the one at center stage. She's lost her unaccustomed sense of distance, becoming the subject of judgment, scrutiny, and discussion. No one in her position can remain unperturbed. I'm starting to get why I sighed. Why? Because only now does it really feel like we're back. Gladia's taking that like a champ. I like how the others are just talking about it, not going up there too. If I was there, if I was part of the crew, I'd be tempted to, you know, hop in, tag in, being like, you know what, Gladia, you were up there for like 5 hours at this point. I will step up now. Ask me questions instead. Like the Marines know. Okay, not scary. I got this. No fear. They'll call me Will because of my love for gacha. Gotta hurry. Calerpa Arceus Feridium here? Wilson Miliarium is cultivating endangered seaweed. Oh, what a cutie. I love, wait. I love that keychain. Look at that little keychain. That pufferfish. Oh, it's so precious. Hello. How's the story? Pretty good so far, even though we were mainly stuck in a tribunal for the longest time. But look at this little pufferfish keychain. I want it. It's so cute. Look at that face. I wish I could zoom in. Hypnea fenstralis. Halaminia fimbratias. Palmaria purpureas. Wait, the color of this Sargassum pinnata. I cultivate it myself. Why are you in the streets? It's too dry, you'll die. What happened here? Did someone do this? Were you migrating? Is there something... Well, wait. They're gone? This pipe. What? A pipe? Oh, she just... Is she traveling like Mario now? This is... Arg... What's going on? The rumbling. Is the city moving? Something's moving. Who's there? Uh-oh. Vacuole inflates merrily. Look at that sea slug. Well, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Not at all. Lucilla and I were just performing regular inspections and maintenance on the city's unit framework. Still no sign of Tolia? Come on, Lucilla. It hasn't been that long since we made the report. I can tell you care a lot about her. I can tell you care about her. Did she mention getting into any trouble recently? No, she isn't the one to look for trouble. I can't imagine her offending anyone. What you say certainly fits her profile. Did she ever talk to you about the Waterway program or beacon data? No. I wouldn't say we're close exactly. We talk from time to time, but she's more of a loner who prefers to work on her own stuff. Wait, is she a suspect? Sorry, maybe I'm making her sound suspicious. But it's probably just stress. There's been fighting amongst every day in the last 6 months. The Millennium has been away from the home territories. Everyone here is on edge. The Church of the Deep continues its attempts to sabotage the Waterway program. We've eliminated many cultists over those months. And until they were exposed, they appeared just like any of our countrymen. But she'd have no reason to... Well, to be honest, I've never quite understood why she chose to join the Waterway program. What do you mean, ma'am? You already know that she used to work at the Institute of Ecological Art, right? The IEA moved to another city when this one was evacuated its original position and received new battle orders. Right, and she had the chance to go with them to continue her work, but instead, she chose to... Sorry to interrupt, but could you explain more about this evacuation you mentioned? You remember, don't you, Lucilla? You were working on the dome at the time, so you had the best view of the whole thing. Yeah, it was one of the Aegir's largest volcanic power stations, feeding countless laboratories, and Millennium was responsible for its construction and defense. The city was parked beneath the power station. Through the dome, I could see its red glow illuminate the ocean for miles. The heat it generated attracted many different creatures. It was the largest endangered plants reserve in Aegir, and the ideal environment for Millennium's ecological art to flourish. Then the light turned dark. Seaborn? Yeah. A year ago, swarms of Seaborn arrived on the ocean currents, and Millennium ordered an emergency evacuation. Without the natural environment to support it, the Institute of Ecological Art, like other related institutions, was forced to relocate. But there was a full legion in the city. We could have retaken the power station. War orders for the Waterway program had just arrived. Millennium was in fact being strategically redeployed. I came here with the Legion after that. The lives of so many of our people were changed, including Lucilla. By the way, I transferred from the dome to the groundwork because I was afraid of heights. Sorry, off topic. So you mean to say that Tulia might have had ulterior motives for joining the Waterway program? That's a serious accusation. I don't believe it either. No, I'm telling you telling you what I know. But it's undeniable that there are 100,000 souls in the city, and not all of them are fully committed to the Waterway program. Most just carry on with their lives, not understanding the kind of path we're clearing out on the ocean. Even our Iberian guest
here came to learn about the program, didn't she? Whether Tuli is linked with the Church of the Deep or not, the fact remains that she made an unauthorized copy of data on the Waterway program. We'll have to find her to learn why.
But Millenarium isn't that big. She had been found by now, even if she were hiding between dome layers or in the corners of the circulation system.
True. She may well have left the city, but we were unable to find her biosignature in the nearby waters.
Yeah, out of the Aegir right now, the new Aegir that we met, I love Secunda. I'm happy that Secunda is the freebie. Oh, thank goodness.
Nor were there any unscheduled ship movements in the port, and she couldn't have gone beyond our sensor range in just a few days using civilian deep water equipment. However, the city did make a shortened movement around 30 hours ago to receive the Iberian mission. Perhaps.
Could she have left the city at the time?
So, the Colombian scientist Kristen Wright broke through the barrier for the first time in more than 10,000 years. The hole she pierced hasn't completely closed, even after a year. Aegir's surveillance of the universe through this opening continues, and so far no anomalies have been detected. I tried to stop her to no avail. We still have time, but it's running short. Ripping apart the electron clouds with the high energy beam, we were not aware of any energy sources on land that could support such a brute force measure. Her method came from the same place as Aegir's technology, prehistoric civilization. She discovered sarcophagi beneath trimounts that preserved the civilization's spark, and managed to obtain the trust of its custodian. Before leaving the home territories, I had not expected to find anyone with your profound understanding of both Aegir and prehistory from the lands. You've demonstrated once again that there is still much about Terra that we do not understand. Fins trapped in the depths lose their perception of light. Likewise, our nation must continue to explore, even if we can no longer support grand expansions. The Stargate, the Twin Moons, the Barrier, the ruins in the Mantle. There is much on this planet that was not formed naturally. Our Voyager fleets, having traversed to the far side of the planet, have even detected highly unusual terrain concealed behind the distant dark fog. There, the sea currents abruptly cut off, as though they had reached the end of the ocean. That is merely a hotbed that has long since cooled. The most important prehistoric relics lie in the Aegir heartlands. You know this, Madam Consul. The prehistoric ruins beneath the sandbed are a gift from the ocean to Aegir. They nurtured your civilization and have granted you power and knowledge far beyond the terrestrial nations. And with them, responsibility. And you say, Dr. Kelsey, responsibility. When did the land dwellers first start calling themselves human? When they lit the first fire with originium? Built the first city with stone and mud? On land, self-awareness and identity were established naturally over time. Even today, humanity is often defined in the narrowest terms. For the Aegir, it was conferred. We were not the same race as the predecessors, but we inherited their identity as we inherited their mantle. Thus, Aegir was born with a responsibility to humanity. The Seaborn would not compel us to abandon this duty. On the contrary, they add to its weight. You are indeed the right consul for Millenarium, Madam Consul. Where is this coming from? Your temperament as Aegir. You are patient and kind, but does not diminish the arrogance in your thinking. That is to say, Aegir's arrogance. I do not believe our conversations about this hole in the barrier, the ruins in the mantle, and even the future of civilization itself are merely small talk to lighten the mood. Just as I do not believe Aegir will rely on passive solutions. After all, isn't Millenarium's department from its home territories a proactive effort to create a new line of defense? So my question is, Madam Consul, what is Aegir's endgame for the waterway? I have already told Gladia Aegir's answer, that which you would call arrogant. You have the right to know as well. There is much of this planet that was not formed naturally, and Aegir does not believe that they are unrelated. Be they wonders like the Stargate and the Twin Moons, or calamities like Originium and the Seaborn, these phenomena cannot be random products of spontaneity.
They must be interconnected in some way. To solve the seaborne problem at its source and to stop Terra's crisis, we need to fully understand Terra, including the hidden secrets of the land. But those are for the future. If you simply seek my answer for what's at hand. My endgame for the waterway is to ensure that hundreds of thousands of Millennium's inhabitants and tens of thousands of Penal Battalion troops in Grand Faro live to see Ager's main force arrive. Distress signal. From the squadron tasked with the beacon deployment at Nest 37. Uh-oh, distress.
You're sharp.
Save me the effort of looking for you. Do you always come and go without warning, Ulpipi?
How much has Millennium told you of the waterway program?
Thought you'd care more about the hunters. Thought you'd care more about your circumstances. Well, I thought you'd care more about the hunters.
The tribunal has demonstrated their innocence, and they're not alone. Besides, Gladia has returned to Ager, and its conspiracies are of her own accord. Let's continue where we left off at the Sophantheantrum. The war between Ager and the Seaborn has gone on for more than 2 centuries, but both sides have set their sights on dry land at almost simultaneously. The sudden migration of an entire species, and a change in direction for an entire nation, perhaps deep down, they stem from the same cause.
Sounds like you don't trust any of Ager's plans. You still have your reservations about us, Ulpianus. You still have your reservations.
I know more than I've told Gladia. This knowledge forces me to be cautious about Ager's past and future actions. But it's too soon for her to know, and not your place to know at all. Our only concern now, for now is the waterway program. A path connecting the land and the sea. Neither that doctor nor the Inquisition fully trust in this, or else you would not be here. Going the seas with powerful weapons to buy time for the main force from the home territories to arrive. Ager's warfare design is always simple and effective. But there have been anomalies in the city that we cannot ignore.
The Church of the Deep? I heard about a missing person. The Church of the Deep?
That consul is a formidable woman. During Millennium's voyage, she has called many of the corrupted and thwarted their sabotages. While the 2 escorting legions have sustained far fewer losses than expected, everything has gone well, almost too well. Now a staff member of the program has gone missing at the most crucial stage. This is just the beginning. I'm looking into it and will eliminate any potential threats. I can enter most places and evade the sea patrol's irregular rounds with ease. But I fear the problem runs deeper. I would rather not barge into an important lab or a consul's penisvarium, unless I have to.
I'm not your messenger to the hunters, Ulpianus. You should work with Rhodes Island, Ulpianus. Come on, I'll send you an invitation. He didn't say no. After all, we can help you move around the city. After all, Ager sees you as a threat, don't they? They see you as a threat, but I don't, even though you threatened to snap my neck, but I know it's just your way of saying hello.
Rhodes Island wants to work with me. And watch me, I assume. So be it.
He gave his consent. Let me summon you then, sir.
One more thing. Scotty, if you truly care about the hunters, keep a close eye on her.
I will. I'll watch Scotty. Stare. 156. 157. I've never seen a port this busy. Are things not going well on the front lines? Humming. You're still in the mood for music? Why not? We might be too busy for it. There you are, Captain Gladia. You went to see Consul Clementia with Dr. Kelsey right after the tribunal, right? How'd it go? Well enough, but I was only there to make introductions. They had much to discuss, and I had no reason to stay. I did have a brief discussion with Clementia on the current plans for the Abyssal Hunters, though. Ager's waterway will open soon. Until then, the hunters will fight alongside the 2 legions accompanying Millennium. See, I was right. Uh-huh.
I'd rather be out there killing monsters and sit through another debate. So what's the mission and when do we move out? The command structure and battle plans are pending discussion with the Legion commanders. Gotti.
Hey, that's the emergency alarm, right? What happened? A seaborne invasion?
I'm Consul Gladia. Status report. Yes, ma'am. 2 squadrons from Legion X were sent to deploy the beacon at Nest 37 today as planned. But we just received a distress signal. They were attacked by Seaborn on the way.
The seaborne were prepared?
Unclear. The situation is still developing. The Academy of Technology hasn't had time to produce a report. Are there any corvettes on standby at the port? Always. You can claim one by logging into the terminal. Thank you. Keep me posted about the squadron's coordinates. Once close enough, the Abyssal Hunters will disembark and swim into battle. Roger. Laurentina, with me. Gotti, you stay behind.
Ooh, hello. Captain?
Don't overthink it. The contact between land and sea is paramount. Kelsey can't be at 2 places at once, so I need you to keep the doctor safe. This is an order.
Received. Yes, keep me safe. Laurentina's group is embarking for battle, but they just came back.
It has something to do with the alarm. The fleet deploying the beacon at Nest 37 was attacked by a Seaborn, and they're going out to help. You know the Abyssal Hunters?
I do. We had a brief partnership on land, facing challenges and battling enemies together, including the Seaborn.
That's impressive, given their temperament and fighting style. I'd go up and greet Consul Gladia myself if we weren't in the middle of an emergency. I haven't had the opportunity since they returned.
Does everyone in Aegir know the Hunters?
Of course not, but I once worked with them, and even aspired to join them.
Someone from your team said that you used to be a researcher.
My expertise in genetic engineering qualified me for the Abyssal Hunter program. I studied under the head of the project, who was the first Abyssal Hunter.
You know, in this case, I guess I gotta hang out with Ulpipi. I gotta know more about him. Though I would want to hang out with the Abyssal Hunters, but they seem very busy right now. Otherwise, Ulpipi.
At the time, few were compatible, and even fewer successfully underwent the operation, but he and Gladia had already achieved spectacular results. Their most remarkable feat was a 3-day battle with the Seaborn in a hydrothermal vent that brought time for 2 energy survey cities to evacuate. The Seaborn evolved constantly. With the use of weapons strictly regulated, they were the safest and most effective countermeasure. I watched them leave and return every day. I watched them lie down in the regenerative gel, exhausted, waiting as I recorded the data, tested their functions, and repaired their bodies. Those were the costs of victory people could not see. I'm not entirely sure what motivated me at the time, but one day I submitted an application to become a hunter to the Institute of Development Planning. I'd have done the same.
What?
I mean, I'd have wanted to apply myself. To see your mentor and everyone else risking their lives like that, nobody would want to feel that they weren't doing enough. You seem fit enough, and as a researcher, you were beyond familiar with their functions and combat style. Wait, then why didn't you? Because my application was rejected.
But why?
Shakes head. I didn't ask, and my mentor wouldn't have answered.
So you joined the Sea Patrol instead? Because it's the unit that works the most closely with the Hunters?
Yes, and monitors them. The corvette is ready for you. All right. Sorry, Irene. I shouldn't have bored you with my past.
It's fine.
Back to work. As the fleet battles the Seaborn, we must also locate the missing scientists for answers. The Sea Patrol's objective remains unchanged. As for you, Irene, you're staying with us.
Wait, what for?
We won't be in the thick of the battle, but it's still dangerous. It's the Sea Patrol's duty to keep you safe.
Look at you, Irene. You get to hang out more with Secunda. I appreciate it, Perfecta, but I'm good. I'm not afraid of the Seaborn. Every Inquisitor has Seaborn blood in their hands.
Former Inquisitor, as I recall from your files. I appreciate your assistance during the investigation. Like I said, you're sharp and brave. But you didn't come to Aegir to fight. Go back and stay with the other emissaries. Are you implying that the war between Aegir and the Seaborn is beyond a land dweller's comprehension? Yes. Your concerns are justified, but trying to comprehend is why I'm here. There are many things I, as an Iberian, need to understand. Aegir, the Seaborn, true war, and everything that's happening in the depths of the ocean. The land isn't far from here, and Aegir has only a single city in this region, but beyond it lies the entirety of Iberia. Don't worry, I don't intend to get myself killed at sea. Irene's pretty tough. Secunda, do not worry about Irene. She is a tough operator, alright? Such maturity at your age. You must have a good mentor. From what I've heard, better than yours at least.
I love how savage they are to each other. They get along so well.
Prepare a set of deep water equipment for Irene. Let's go.
Irene is extremely feisty. I like this. This is good. Already no fear. Just a few fishies coming through. 18, 19, boop. And then over here, getting ready to deploy Wizardel, because why not? Wizardel will wizard do the thing. This be fine. Alrighty. And not right there. A little bit more, and then I'll put out Chen. Not the ideal placement, but I just want someone else by the thingy. And meh, I'm just gonna use a skill now so I can build it up the second part. Assuming I even need it at this point. Better safe than sorry after all. And you know what, over here seems decent. Why not? I'm being edgy for not bringing out a healer. You know, I should bring out a healer. I should have faced the healer up. Oopsies, my bad. But nah. Thorns is fine by himself. Myrtle's fine by herself too. They're terrifying as enough, as is. And Ash is far away from the damage, I think, the fight. Chen is perfect for spawn camping, I love this. Me, might as well just have her prepared to fire off at them if they get close enough. Just like that. And that. Thank you, Chen. I feel like Chen's water power would be extra powerful underwater. And water and electric type put together, even better. Super effective. There ain't no fear here. No fear at all. Mission accomplished. Anu, hello, hello. Walter instead of Wizardel. To me it's okay, just because it's a nickname. Now they say that's her real name, no, but if it's a nickname, it's okay. Like Chenalter, Chalter. Or Ulpianus, Ulpipi. Audio log 13. Unknown language, unknown time. The reactor of the United Starline starship still burns so brightly. Since the atmosphere control center crashed, we've been shrouded in a dull gray clouds. A radiant light like this certainly lifts the spirit. To my pleasant surprise, Valeria was also on the starship. I discovered once she landed that she had come to bid farewell to her mother. Ever since joining the Stargate modification project, she has been completely absorbed in her duties. It was surprising to see her still concerned with worldly matters. If she still has a mind for such things, perhaps we might finally talk about that wedding that's been put on hold for the past 10 years. Oh! A wedding that's been put on hold for the past 10 years? Oh. You know? I soon dismissed that thought as foolish. The woman I once knew now stood before me like a stranger. I could no longer discern what she was thinking. As she stood before her mother's life support pod, her expression was one I had never seen before. It was neither sorrow nor regret. It was envy. What could she possibly envy about her dying mother? Was it the peaceful release offered by the machine's simulated world?
You're still here. Everyone else has left. Sorry, I didn't know there would be a tribunal today. That's okay. The search logs. You've asked quite a few questions. How big is the ocean? Is it bigger than the land? By how much? Can Aegir cities float to the surface? How do the Aegir tell whether it's day or night?
He's just going through the man's search history. Avidus. Ouch.
Is this how you've been trying to understand Aegir? I fear it may confuse you even more. Mr. Avidus, I'm not sure why, but I feel really excited. In the Inquisition's nautical charts, the ocean extends only a few nautical miles from the shore before giving way to unknown regions marked by grayish blue. In some areas, we couldn't even get near the shore. But your charts are so detailed. Geological features, energy pockets, local fauna and flora. There are so many pages, I don't even know where to start. The forest in the heart of the ocean, icebergs that never melt, thermal vents deep in the trenches. For a moment, I thought the sea and sky were all mine for the taking. That I need to simply reach out, like everything was made for me. Sorry, that sounds really arrogant, doesn't it? Quite the opposite, young man. It is but a most basic desire. But
The young Aegir looks up and gazes at the coral-shaped terminal. Holographic images and words leap up and down, illuminating his soft eyes.
I've been in Millenarium for a whole day now, but I can't handle your tech. I don't get your discussions, and I'm even lost with directions. The tribunal that just happened, I have no idea how you guys settled your disagreement. I did search for Briogen, the ship's designer, who I thought was my ancestor. I saw his face, heard his voice, and looked at his designs. Is there really anything I have in common with them? Would his descendants really turn out to be someone like me? I couldn't find a single sign that says I belong here. Aegir is like a lighthouse, bright and tall. I always knew it existed, but when I finally followed its light and reached its base, why do I feel lost instead? Briogen. It's been many years since his name was last spoken. He was a remarkable man, even amongst the Aegir. He was the most talented designer in the Academy of Technology, but left everything behind to go ashore, right when his country needed him most. But even this city is connected to him, albeit in a somewhat unusual way. How so? It was through the city that he went on land. The Institute of Development Planning even tried to penalize him. Penalize a few consuls for failing to stop him. Listen, Yordi. I cannot ascertain whether you are truly bound to him by blood, though such a connection holds little significance. That what matters is that can be no doubt that you are Aegir. I know I am, but how do I prove I belong here, even if I can't even trace my own heritage? A true Aegir needs no proof of that. But I understand, we all search for answers in the past. I'm no different. I can say with a straight face that I am one of Aegir's foremost authorities on prehistory. I firmly believe in the weight of history, and that it contains truths and patterns that will show us the way forward. But what if it's a way of destined destruction for Aegir? I'm sorry, what was that? What was the last part?
Yeah, dude, why you gotta say something so ominous? Are you alright, Scotty?
Huh? Did you say something, Doctor?
Sorry, I was just thinking about Shark and Swordfish. They're probably on a killing spree right now. They're probably worried about you. Chin up, Scotty. They're probably on a killing spree right now.
I'm not worried about them. They're strong. Nothing good ever happened to those around me, which is why I was always alone until I joined Rhodes Island. Now it's happening again.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Are you afraid you'll bring disaster to the hunters?
Maybe. But we hunters aren't afraid of
of the bad we might bring to each other. Because we all share the same grim fate. We can trust each other with our lives. This time, though, it might not just be the hunters. I could bring disaster to all of Ager. You won't. I believe in you. That's what Captain Ulpianus always said. He would explain our battle plans in great detail to everyone else, but with me, he simply said he believed in me. He believed I could complete my mission even if I couldn't memorize those complex strategies. And do you believe him? He was always so reliable and had an answer for everything. I remember the songs he wrote before battles. He said we could use them as codes to communicate because the Seaborn didn't understand music. But I just liked the songs. He had a great sense of direction too. He could always lead us all back, even when we were lost in those maze-like nests. I need him! I really need him if he's good at directions. And yeah, he's adorable. Ulpipi's so nice. Being like, Scotty, you don't have to learn those complex stuff. I believe in you. Here, let me just give you a song. A song to help you memorize the most important parts. Otherwise, you got this, champ. We could always count on him to point the way until the final battle? Yes, the 1st and 4th companies sacrificed themselves to clear a path, while the 2nd held off the Seaborn that were rushing back. Captain Ulpianus led the charge and soon arrived at the target, the core organ of the Firstborn. Then, we lost the signal. I thought he was dead, so it fell to me to deal with the killing blow. But he wasn't. Yeah. I don't know what happened that day. I still don't know why he didn't come back. And the more I don't know, the more I feel like I need to do something. Trust your warrior's instinct, Scotty. Remember? Whoosh! Pow! Thud! Ha! Rush in with a whoosh, knock them down with a pow, and finish them with a thud. I remember. Good talk. Whoosh! Thou! Whoosh! Pow! Thud!
Arrived at target coordinate.
We came as fast as we could, though not fast enough it seems. This is a graveyard. Aww. Giant shipwrecks and seaborne remains lie entangled in a grotesque embrace. Pale flakes descend like snow. While some have given it a more romanticized name, marine snow, it does little to hide its cruel nature. Fragments of organic matter, both seaborne and human. The sweetness of blood and the stench of death intensified by the cannon's lingering heat, spread with the falling flakes. The Abyssal Hunter's strong sense of smell magnifies all this, and Spectre cannot help but cover her nose.
This shouldn't be unfamiliar to you, Shark. The fleet pins down the Seaborn with superior numbers as the hunters flank and eliminate the swarm's core. We've used this tactic often. This is the same scene we've seen each time we leave their nest.
I know. Perhaps we spent too much time on land. It's not a pleasant thing to recall.
1 engineering mothership, 10 battleships, numerous smaller ships. The wreckage positions on the seabed indicate they stayed in formation. They were not taken by surprise. There are signs of gravitational distortion on nearby rocks. They tried to stop the Seaborn using force fields, but the Seaborn were faster. The ships weren't even able to form a crossfire. They fought with them in close quarters. Something's not right.
What's the matter?
The squadron's destination was Nest 37, but all the ships appear to be headed for Milarium. Besides, now that the squadron is destroyed, why haven't the Seaborn made their next move?
Swordfish.
Let's go.
Alright, grab my hand. I did tell you to stay on the Corvette. Deep water equipment may keep you from being crushed by the water pressure, but even the Ager are at the mercy of the ocean's currents without proper training. I could use some help once you're done laughing. Cute. It's a cute hat. I prefer without the hat, but it's cute. And I like how they have to hold hands to walk around underwater. That's adorable. Imagine you're dancing with a rowdy partner. Counter her moves and find your balance. This is how you fight the currents. You're light. It shouldn't be hard for you. Don't look at me like that. I'll meet you up ahead.
A broken lighting array. Trace amounts of organic tissue in the broken metal frame, human and seaborn.
Find anything?
Some tissue that matches a sample provided by the Institute of Development Planning. It's Tulia. Miliarium was parked here around 40 hours ago. Based on the location of the array, she had left from the circulation system sewage exit at the edge of the city.
But why did she leave?
It's hard to reconstruct the scene with what's available. The currents have already washed away most of the clues. I'm afraid we won't find out if Tulia was a cultist with a grudge against the waterway program, or what happened to her from here. This is 2 hours away by ship from Miliarium's present location. Even with deep water equipment,
She couldn't have swum back.
based on the remaining tissues, it seems that she had encountered a seaborn.
There's no way she could have survived.
Right. A dead end.
That's the direction the Abyssal Hunters went.
The battle may be fiercer than expected. The waterway program is in its final phase. Once Nest 37 has been located, we can clear the seaborne from this entire area and open up the waterway. A waterway. This can't just be a coincidence.
Could the incident with Tulia have something to do with the attack on the fleet?
Or maybe her incident is just a red fin to distract the sea patrol. There are too many new uncertainties, as if everything sucked in a giant vortex. Let's go back to the city for now. Hardbank to port. Full speed ahead. Go around that ridge and turn back. That should lose a third of the seaboard on our trail. Our tail.
I like being able to talk underwater, that's nice.
Sir, the seaboard have breached the hull. They're inside the ship. Keep the evasive maneuvers going, helmsmen. We'll deal with the ones inside. Camouflage coating down to 10%. We'll be fully visible soon. Buy as much time as you can. Yes, sir!
Good.
Take care of the rest, Shark. Abyssal Hunters? Gladia. I recognize you, ma'am. Have the other ships made it safely back to Miliaria, Madam Consul? Thank goodness. The more of our elites we save, the more strength we'll have for what's ahead. Are you the commander of this vessel? Yes, ma'am. We were ambushed. A large swarm of seaborn left a nest and appeared on the squadron's route, virtually unheard of in previous beacon deployments. We couldn't reveal our battle plans. We had to retreat. Our ship was the fastest in the fleet. The most logical tactic was for us to delay the seaborn while the main fleet retreated. How many survivors are there on your ship? 26. Less than 1 in 10. Why the silence, Madam Consul? I see. I'm sorry, Commander. Your ship and your 26 men are the only survivors.
All seaborn inside the ship have been eliminated. There's no better way to tell you, so I'll make it brief. The 1,000 or so men who retreat you were recovering fell into an even bigger ambush. We happened to see your ship weaving through the complex terrain as we arrived. But what you couldn't have seen as a seaborn had you completely surrounded. You were just chasing your own tail in their trap. Ouch!
We failed the mission. Yet we were the ones who lived. The losses are much worse than expected. But you did live. Lift your head, Aegir. You and your men are just as much Aegir elites, and you will give your strength to what's ahead. For now, Laurentina and I will bring you back to the city.
Ouch! Just ouch! Biggest of oops. And these sections are actually pretty long. We'll leave the next one for next time. That's a good introduction, though. All the differences in hangouts. Our boy Lumen is just hanging out with the professors, learning about the city. Irene is going out with Secunda a lot. She's doing her best. She is doing her community service. The Abyssal Hunters. Oh my goodness, Gladia had to do so much talking. And then straight to work afterwards. Kelsey is doing her job as usual too. And then there's Ulpipi. Hanging out with Ulpipi's pretty good. I want to be able to explore the city. I want that tour that Spectre gave us, or wanted to give us. Come on, Laurentina, let's go on a tour. I want to go exploring some more. Oh well. Maybe after we help with the waterways, then we can go have fun. Hopefully. Maybe. I want to see more of this yellow area. I love the color scheme. Teal and white. Very, very pretty. Very, very Miku-esque. Like whitish gray. I appreciate the aesthetic. It is nice looking. It's gonna be exciting to see what happens next tomorrow. I can't wait to continue, and maybe I'll finish it even on Monday. Am I gonna pull for tonight? I don't have anything right now. I gotta get some more tickets. So, ooh, I see. Oh, she has her hat on when I get her. Used to improve the potential of underflow. Oh, that's her operator name. That's cute, underflow. That's adorable. And invisible dirge. Ooh. Oh, that's a pretty outfit. I like that. Manticore looks cool. And that's a casual outfit. Dang, girl, you got the nice drip. Drip marketing. That is good. Secunda E2 art is without her hat. Okay, yay. That means I really have to raise her first thing so I can just see her beautiful hair. I feel good. I feel satisfied. Next, we're gonna see what happens next. But still, oof. Just oof, oof, oof. I feel so bad for that one fleet. They tried their best. They wanted to give the others a chance to get out of there, but no. In the end, they were the only survivors. But at least they survived. It wasn't a total massacre. So yay for Gladia and Laurentina getting there in time. Thank goodness for them. But for now, I'll be good and drink my cranberry juice and take the cup out. I'll be good. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and epic gacha luck. I shall see you guys later, continuing the story tomorrow. So, bye-bye. Cranberry time. And yay for no scuff.